Hello and welcome to ACLL 101. I'm Nick. I'm a Library Services Associate at the Allegheny County Law Library. If you wish, this is a good time to turn on the closed captioning by clicking the CC icon in the bottom of this video. Additional closed captioning settings, including translations, can be found by clicking the gear icon. Let's get started. What is a public law library? You're probably already familiar with a public library. Now, a law library is a specialized library that deals with legal information, but usually these are associated with universities, courthouses, law firms, and government agencies. But what these have in common is that they are specifically for the users of those communities, the attorneys, the students, the government agents, whoever is associated with that institution. A public law library is open to the public, and our goal is to provide legal resources and information to anyone within the Allegheny region. The Allegheny County Law Library was created by statute in 1867 and has been operating for nearly 160 years to serve the Allegheny County community. Our mission is to help the people within our county access legal information and resources. Now, that includes members of the bar, members or within the court system, as well as just members of the general public with no connection to the legal system. We provide a variety of different information resources in print or online to anyone that needs legal assistance. As a public library, we offer two different library cards, one of which is the normal library card that you can get at any Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh location. It allows you to borrow print materials the same as you would at any other public library. It also gives you access to all of the same databases that the Carnegie Library provides, which is a large number. Many people don't realize just how many electronic resources and other features you get from just your regular library card. In addition to that, or sort of in parallel to that, we offer what's called our Pro Se card, which provides remote access to certain legal specific databases. You can still use the Pro Se card to borrow material from here, but it also provides some other legal information resources that are not available from a normal library card. Now, it is provided you can receive it for free if you are representing yourself within a lawsuit, which is what's called being a pro se litigant. In that case, we'll provide it to you. For anyone else that is interested in it, there's usually a annual fee to get a similar card. The law library staff at the law can provide assistance finding legal information and resources. We can give you guidance on how to use the legal databases such as Westlaw and Lexis that are available here in the library. We can help you locate laws, statutes, forms, and cases that relate to your case. We can help identify resources. We can help you direct you to places to find an attorney if that's what you need. What we can't do, though, is provide legal advice, this is sometimes a little bit tricky to figure out what the difference is between the legal information that we can direct you to and legal advice. But the main thing is that legal advice tells you what you should do. Legal information is broad and general and non-specific. It's about what the law says in general, whereas we can't tell you how it applies in your specific case. None of the law library staff are attorneys, so we're not really qualified to do that. So here we have a slide that sort of breaks down the differences between the legal information that we can provide you and legal advice. The further down you go on this chart, the more you're getting into legal advice territory. Legal information is broad and general, not specific to your case. Legal information can talk about the law in general, but it doesn't identify a specific cause of action that relates to your situation. And it doesn't interpret the law to tell you how it applies in your case. All of that requires the sort of legal expertise that comes from being a judge or an attorney. None of the law library staff are able to provide that to you. When you are researching the law, it's important to know the difference between the primary sources, which are the actual laws themselves, and secondary sources, which are explanations usually written by legal experts. But the key difference is the primary sources have the actual weight of law behind them. If you cite to one of these laws in a court case, it's official. People have to follow it because it's the law. A secondary source is an expert analyzing it and interpreting it, explaining it, but they don't have any authority beyond just their general knowledge of the topic. So primary sources include things that you would think of as normal laws like the Constitution and statutes that were passed by the Pennsylvania legislature or the US Congress. But they also include things like judicial decisions and the rules and regulations passed by administrative agencies. When Congress passes a law that says the EPA has to regulate the environment or the state highway system has to control traffic speeds, they tend to leave those laws broad and vague, and it's up to the individual agencies to establish rules that define the specific ways that it will be regulated, and those have their own legal weight to them. Secondary sources are very useful if you want to understand the law and interpret, figure out what the law means, but it doesn't have the authority. No one's obligated to listen to what the experts say just because they're knowledgeable in the topic. Most of the legal resources that the law library has come in two categories. We have print and we have online resources. Our print resources, we have a list here of many of the common examples. We have most of our material is Pennsylvania focused because we're located in Pennsylvania. So we have the Pennsylvania Constitution, all of the statutes passed by Pennsylvania, state regulations, law encyclopedias specific to Pennsylvania law, and many books written on Pennsylvania specific legal topics. In addition, we have our self-help collection, which is more written to be for a general audience. It's a good place to get started if you are getting involved in a legal situation. You don't really know what the law is covering your situation. All of our self-help books are written to have the assumption that you aren't a lawyer yourself, you don't have any legal background. They'll give you an introduction. Then you might need to move into the treatises, which are more in-depth and more Pennsylvania-specific materials written by experts in the field. In addition to our print materials, we have a large number of legal online topic materials. So you can access those in various different ways, depending on what they are. We have if you come into any Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh location, you should be able to access Westlaw or Gale Legal Forms. These are two legal databases. They're full of useful information. They're available to any person who comes into the library in any location within Allegheny County. You just have to talk with the library staff and get them there. Now, the staff at the law library are more familiar with these databases and more used to helping people with them than you might get at some of the other branches, but you should be able to get at least access to them at the other Carnegie Library locations. Now, we also have a legal database called Lexis, which is also very useful and powerful. It is only available here at the Allegheny County Law Library because of an agreement that we have with the library vendor Lexis. We would like to offer it in more locations or offer it remotely. That's up to the vendor. So you have to come here physically in the law library to access that one. In addition, anyone can come into the law library and use any of the other legal databases that we have, Westlaw, Gale, Lexis, or any of these other ones. Fastcase, Hein Online, Legal Track, you can see them listed there. Anyone can use them here in person, Pro Se card holders can remotely access Fastcase, Hide Online, Legal Track, etc. So you can use those from any computer that has an internet access, provided you go through the link on our website, put in your card information, and the staff can help you get set up with that if you need. So in addition, the law library provides a lot of legal forms that are useful if you're starting a court case, if you have to file a motion or an answer to a complaint or an affidavit or many other legal documents. We can provide a form or a template or an example, depending on what it is. Many of them we have already printed out and prepared that we can just hand you. Other ones we can research and find an example for you and print it out for you or email it to you, get it to you in some way. The different types of forms that we have available. These are the ones that we have already prepared for you. So if you just come in and ask for them, we can just hand you a copy that we have. In fact, most of these are available in a series of drawers that we have. Anyone can just come up and take them. So these include the civil complaint packets, which means if you want to sue somebody in court, this is the packet that you would file in order to begin legal proceedings against them. There's 3 different types of complaint packet, depending on the amount that you're suing for. There's different paperwork if it's below $3,000, between $3,000 and up to $50,000, or a different set if it's above $50,000. And we provide all 3 of those. In addition, if instead of you filing a complaint, if someone is filing a complaint against you, you have to file what's called an answer to respond to their complaint. And we have paperwork to help with that. We have what's called the informa pauperis form, which is if your income is below a certain threshold, courts will waive the filing fees that you have to pay to start a court case or to file certain documents as part of the court case. In order to get those fees waived, you have to have filed the informa pauperis. We have the paperwork so that you can file that as well. In addition, we have a lot of different forms related to family court for divorce or custody cases, and we can help you locate the appropriate things along those lines. For anything that we don't have printed in advance, we would have to look up legal forms in various databases usually. So if you come in with a more complicated issue that is not solved with one of those basic forms, these are the places that we would start looking, and we would provide you access. We might look in them ourselves to help you find things. But the 3 databases that are a good place to go looking for forms. The first one is Gale Legal Forms. It's probably the most approachable of them, has a lot of forms available. It's very easy to navigate if you're not a legal expert. Lexis has its own set of forms. In particular, the Dunlap-Hanna's Pennsylvania forms are very good and in-depth, very likely to have forms that are what you need or close to what you need. In many cases, you have to take an example document, take a motion that is close to what you're doing, modify it to fit the facts of your case. Westlaw also has a form finding system that can find a lot of useful materials for people. If you can't come into the library in person, we can send it to you. Just contact us by phone or by email, and we can send it to you. Usually we email it to people. We can work out some way to make sure that you get the forms that you need. We'll work as best we can. The law library also has 8 computers available in the main reading room. Any library patron can come in and use those for legal research, for preparing documents, or for any other purpose that you need. We also have an additional 15 computers in our computer lab. We provide other resources such as a photocopier, which costs 25 cents per page. You can print from the computers. The first 10 pages are free, and it's 25 cents per page after that. And we have a scanner you can use to email things to yourself or to others. You can use it to save things to your flash drive. You can even use it as a fax machine. You can print from your phone or your laptop. If you have documents or photos or something saved on those devices, you can send them to the law library through our ePrint-It system. There's an email address, there's a website, and there's a mobile app you can use, which will get those documents to us and we'll print them for you. Once again, it'll cost 25 cents per page, same as any other printing. We also provide meeting rooms, which you can reserve for different purposes. There are 3 different meeting rooms available in the law library for different sizes, different types of events. The conference room is good for a reasonably large group, 15 or 20 people maybe can fit in the room, have a discussion seated around the table. Good if you're having a meeting for an organization or something. Or certain types of presentations. But if you're really doing like a class, a presentation, a continuing legal education class, something along those lines, you might want to reserve the computer classroom. It has the aforementioned PCs there. It also has a projector and podium you can use to stand up at the front and present your information. Lastly, we have the consultation room. It's the smallest. It's well suited if you have a small group, maybe 1 to 4 people that need to have a small private conversation. If you want to meet one-on-one with someone, it's a good place. If you want to simply have a place with some privacy to have a phone call or connect to a Zoom meeting or something, you can do it in there. For all of these meeting rooms, what you want to do is use our reservation system. There's a option on the Carnegie Library's website, or if you contact the law library by phone or email and let us know when you're going to use it, we can set up the reservation for you. In addition, you can reserve it yourself by taking a photo of the QR code that's posted on each of the meeting room's doors. You can get it reserved just by talking with one of the staff in person. If you ever just spontaneously need to use a room for a few minutes, walk-ins are welcome. They're usually available. Just check with the staff and we will make sure no one else has already reserved that room for that day or something. If anything else that you should know about the law library, we offer informational events, presentations such as this one, continuing legal education classes, and other presentations put out by partner organizations. We offer those at least once a month, sometimes more. Schedule of those coming up would be available on the Carnegie Library's website, along with other locations, but you can filter specifically for the Allegheny County Law Library's events if those are the ones you're most interested in. You can contact the law library in a variety of different ways, by phone or by email. Those options are on there. You can put in questions on the Carnegie Library's website on their chat feature. They will direct any of those questions to us. If you want to come to the law library in person, we're in the City County building that's downtown on Pittsburgh on Grant Street. We're on the 9th floor. Just make sure you use the correct elevators. Not all of those will get you to the 9th floor to our library. It's a little confusing at first, but once you get here, it's not so bad. Thank you for watching our presentation on ACLL 101. For more information, you can visit the Law Library's website, which is acllib.org, the main Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh's website at carnegielibrary.org, or by stopping in any Carnegie Library location.